Danielle, wild weather here for liveweatherblogs.com. Here is Hurricane Danielle. It's now Tropical Storm Danielle. It's hitting a brick wall of dry air, so it's ingested some of it. It's starting to come back a little bit, but I'm going to 7.5 north, 48.2 west. Winds are 70 miles per hour, gust to 85 miles per hour. It's moving west-northwest at a fairly good clip, 18 miles per hour. Minimum pressure at 882, 982, excuse me, this is not quite a bit, which is the sign of the strength of its weakening. Let's look at this paper map. Very interesting. Last night, we saw an eye, very briefly last night around midnight, is into the west-northwest, and it's encroaching this dry air. It's ingested some of the dry air, and it's gotten into the circulation, and its envelope of moisture is kind of dimming a little bit too. But what is interesting, the high pressure system to the north is kind of reconfiguring itself here to the west. What am I getting at? Well, it does appear that a weaker Danielle could sneak under here, and then high pressure builds in from the northwest here, to the northeastern states. It could block its progress to go out into the Atlantic. We'll have time to wait and watch on that. Right now, Danielle's pretty far out here, still heading on that west-northwest, but will it turn west? Is the interesting question right now. Bermuda sitting up in here. Bermuda's, I would say at the point, would be threatened. See how far west it gets. There's a pretty significant trough off the coast, but notice this upper level low has been diving down. That might have some kind of a semblance of what's going to go on too. It's diving southward, it's coming up, and then maybe another one coming down around the backside. Could it steer Danielle toward the east coast? Will the high pressure system that builds from Tennessee off to the northeast and into northeastern states, will it block around and build around the backside of the northern side of Danielle and block it from going and see, and maybe even come toward the east coast here? Time will tell. Let me show you this. Here's Danielle right here out in the central Atlantic, about 1,100 miles east of the Lesser Antilles. Here's a 96L. But you notice this very elongated area of high pressure, and it's elongating and it's expanding westward, which has really started to made me wonder about what's going to happen here at Danielle. This hurricane, or tropical storm now, may become a hurricane again. Danielle probably will. Isn't going to just barrel itself into this high. It is going to bounce off this high and start moving west again at some point. Will this high continue where it is? That's questionable. Here's that stalled boundary. So, I mean, it's possible Danielle could continue conceivably off in this direction. And when it gets up in here, it'll depend on what happens to the high pressure system that's moving off to the northeastern states to see where then it'll steer. Anyone in Bermuda would want to keep up their guard, definitely. And East Coast, I would watch it. I'm not alarmed yet, but there is a window, if it misses, that it could conceivably come toward the Carolinas, Virginia Beach, even the southern Delmarva Peninsula. So we'll see what happens. Still a wait and see. It's quite a ways out still. And is encountering that dry air, so it probably would hold status quo with Danielle for now. I don't expect it to start strengthening again anytime soon. It'll probably just hold and maintain its tropical storm status till about probably to about 55 west, and then maybe regain its hurricane status again once it starts perhaps curving toward the north and west. So, but we'll see. It all depends on what happens with that high. If the high builds to the east or to the west here, and the other high off the Midwest, southern Midwest, moves northeast, we could have something to watch. Here's another vantage point on the IR. It looked much better this morning, and it's running into that dry air as it heads off toward 20 north. Benchmark for the northern would be right here at 25 north. So we'll see. Still heading off to the west-northwest pretty quickly. That high pressure system's right about here, and you can see it building off into this trough here. It's pushing the trough, and the trough is retrograding a little bit. High pressure builds northeast. It could be an interesting situation come early next week. We'll see. I still do think it's going to recurve, make it a little bit closer to the East Coast and anticipate it the first time. But if you're in Bermuda, if you're going to Bermuda, you want to definitely keep an eye on this. Here's 96L behind it. That's all I have for now. The Gulf of Mexico remains pretty quiet. Stalled boundary out here. We could watch low pressure develop there. Not too concerned right now, but we'll see. That's all I have right now. And let's continue to watch Danielle. Don't write Danielle off quite yet. Take care.